Hello, my name is Sean, and let's talk about Monday Night Raw. Going into the show, we only had two advertised segments, and that was Becky Lynch was going to confront the winner of the Money in the Bank ladder match and make a major announcement, and that Edge was going to continue to fight with Randy Orton. And we didn't have to wait long for Becky Lynch's announcement because she opened the show. She came out with the Money in the Bank briefcase, and she said she had a difficult decision to make. She was going to have to go away for a while. She starts to tear up. Asuka's music hits. She storms into the ring. She throws her kimono off. She's very upset. And she's like, "This is mine." And Becky Lynch is, "Well, you don't really understand. I know you haven't opened it up yet." She opens up the briefcase, and there is the Women's Championship. And she's like, "This Money in the Bank match was different from other ones. It wasn't for a championship opportunity. It was for the championship itself, and I am so happy that you are the one who won it. I think you are the best wrestler in the world." And Asuka's like, "I'm the champion," and she gets all excited. She runs around the ring. She sings and she dances. It's very emotional. As I said in the last video, Asuka happens to be my favorite pro wrestler. So her getting the championship, it's just incredible. So I was really excited and really happy for her. When she gets back into the ring, Becky Lynch says, "You go be a warrior. I can't fight anymore because I'm going to be a mother." And Asuka's like, "You're going to be a mother?" And Becky Lynch cries. Asuka cries. They hug each other. Asuka starts a Becky Lynch chant. And Becky Lynch leaves, and so does Asuka. And that's how we open the show. Now, as I said, I'm a huge Asuka fan. This is great because not only is Asuka now women's champion, this means that she has actually done pretty much all there is to do in the WWE. She has won the Royal Rumble. She has won Money in the Bank. She is a former tag team champion. She's a former SmackDown champion. She is an NXT champion. She is a sole survivor in a Survivor Series match. And now she's the Raw champion. She is a Grand Slam champion. She has done it all. So I'm very excited. I mean, in some ways, since I am a fan and I know Asuka is a competitor, it's a little bit of a pity that she couldn't beat someone for it. But these are extenuating circumstances, and I'm happy for Becky Lynch. And as I said, I'm happy for Asuka. So this was a really good opening of the show. It was very emotional. It made me feel good. I think everyone watching it felt good. Becky Lynch, as I said, she leaves. She goes to the back. She's going to be interviewed, and all the baby faces are there, and they all congratulate her. Another, nice moment. And we then go to commercial break. So then we come back from the commercial break, and it's like we went back in time. We have a video package of Bobby Lashley fighting Humberto Carrillo. This was part of the gauntlet match where he lost. He was disqualified for putting his hands on the ref. And when we come back from the video package, Bobby Lashley is fighting Humberto Carrillo, and it's sort of more of the same. Basically, Bobby Lashley just dominates. He just destroys him. So Asuka's backstage, and she's getting interviewed, and the interviewer's like, "I know this is all sudden. Have you been able to process this?" And Asuka is like, "I am the champion." And then Kairi comes in there, and she shows the belt off to Kairi, and Kairi's all happy for her friend. It's a really cute segment. It's really good. It's real feel good. I enjoyed it. I think at this point it's safe to say that both Asuka and Kairi Sane have turned babyface. Although maybe they'll be heels next week. I have been wrong about WWE pretty much most of this year. So we come back from commercial break, and the match is already in progress, and there's really no excuse for this. I'm going to let you in a little secret. I'm going to put on my Smart Mark hat. I am now the closest thing you'll get to an insider. with the current global situation, all these shows are pre-recorded. And that means, since it was already all taped, you have no excuse for starting a match in the middle. If the show was live, well, you still really don't have much of an excuse. You should have better planning. But as it's pre-taped, they could have started the beginning of the show. They just ran out of time because that Bobby Lashley recap was just too damn long. Well, at any rate, the match is between Angel Garza and Akira Tozawa, and he spends the entire match just getting in the face of his fellow stablemate Austin Theory. He keeps yelling Austin Theory's catchphrase, "I can do this all night long," and he just destroys Akira. And he continues to berate Austin even after he wins the match, and he beats down on Akira. And Drew McIntyre's music hits, and Drew McIntyre comes into the ring, and he just Claymore kicks Angel Garza's head off. Austin Theory thinks this is hilarious. He's laughing, then he gets his head Claymore kicked off, and it was just down to Andrade. And Drew and he had a match. And it was a good match. It was a competitive match. True, it is a match I've seen 852,000 times, but it didn't stop it from being entertaining. And after Drew got him down for the 1, 2, 3, he decided to cut a promo that he is going to be accepting an open challenge from anybody over on SmackDown. That's right. The wild card rule is back, but it's not called the wild card rule. It's called the something or other invitational, and only one person can show up from a different brand. Obviously doing this because the ratings have been in the toilet recently, and WWE just never learns from their mistakes, because the wild card rule just brought the ratings up so well last year. And they stuck to it so well, so I'm just going to make my prediction right now, and guys are just going to show up and go, yeah, I wasn't invited, but I'm just going to show up anyway and fight someone. And as I said, they do this every time the ratings slip. They throw the brand separation, they just throw it in the bin. And as they're looking to pop a rating, the very first guy who's going to come over from SmackDown onto Raw to face Drew McIntyre, why, it's Baron Corbin. Yeah, that's what I thought. So yeah, I expect that needle not to move at all next week. And this week on SmackDown, it's going to be Charlotte Flair. And if what I've read on the dirt sheets are correct, she has had the lowest ratings on any segment in NXT since she beat the NXT champion and has gone back. Well, she sort of is on both shows. But, so yeah, I don't expect her to move the needle for SmackDown either. I could be wrong. I don't know. So we're backstage, and MVP is talking to Bobby Lashley, and he's basically going, "What are you doing? You're a huge guy. You should be challenging for the World Heavyweight title. What are you doing fighting that loser, Humberto Carrillo? You haven't had a championship opportunity since 2007, and I know that because we were both in the company then." And although he didn't right out say it, Bobby Lashley was in TNA, and he won every title you could possibly get in TNA. And when he did that, he was with MVP. So I think they might be reforming that relationship. As MVP is talking to Bobby Lashley, like, "I've got a tag team match coming up. I'll catch you later." And as he walks out, he walks past Lana and goes, "Hey, Lana, if Bobby Lashley needs some new management, tell him I'm available." And she gets all mad about that. Then we have a Moment of Bliss. This is probably another example of this invitational, although Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross are the women's tag team champs, and they can float onto either show and challenge any women tag teams out there. So they're going to have their talk show. And the Iconics return. I haven't seen the Iconics since November. They appear on the talk show. They talk some smack. They're annoyed that Becky Lynch's pregnancy has stolen the thunder from their return. And they basically talk Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross into giving them a match. Ironically, even though Bliss and Cross are babyface champions, they don't want to defend the title. So Billy Kay's like, fine, let's just have a match. So they have a match. It's pretty good. The Iconics win. And so it's been announced that next week they're going to have a championship opportunity on Raw. So now we're off to what's another low point of the evening. We have a 6-man tag. It's Cedric Alexander, Ricochet, and R-Truth against Brendan Vink, MVP, and Shane Thorne. And this match is more about R-Truth putting in, goofy dentures and suddenly becoming a guy he calls Pretty Ricky. And I don't know, maybe this would have worked with a live audience. I don't think it really worked. I have to give the announce team some credit. They really tried to put this gimmick over, but I don't think it really worked. And I don't know what they're doing with Cedric Alexander or Ricochet, or for that matter, Brendan Vink and Shane Thorne. Because when it comes down to the end of the match, they disappear. They're nowhere to be found. R-Truth distracts MVP. He gets the win. And Bobby Lashley comes down, and then they destroy R-Truth. And it looks like that alliance I was talking about, it is happening. And as I said, that was that. Throughout the show, we've had these segments where the Street Profits are playing a basketball game with the Viking Raiders. The Viking Raiders don't seem to understand the concept of basketball at all. They basically can't score any points. And at the end of the segment, they finally score a basket, and they're all excited like they won. And the Street Profits are like, dude, look at the score. We scored 74 points. You scored 2. And that's when they show off the fact they really can play basketball. And we have this montage of them doing all these cool basketball tricks. I don't know. I'm going to be honest, basketball isn't my sport. So I'm not the right audience for this. But I found this to be a complete waste of time. Then we have, one of the featured matches. This was another tag team match. Aleister Black and Rey Mysterio survived death. And they're going to take on the team of Buddy Murphy and Seth Rollins. Rollins looks like a homeless person now. He can't believe that he was beat by Drew McIntyre. His hair is all disheveled. For a guy that I know is really buff, he looks fat. I don't think you can gain that much weight in a day, but he may have, if it's at all possible. He's just like almost comatose for the entire match. Buddy Murphy is, fighting heroically. I almost thought there was going to be the reverse of what happened when Buddy Murphy joined Seth Rollins' stable. Buddy had lost a series of matches with Aleister Black, and he just sat in the corner and stared off into the distance. And as Seth Rollins was getting beaten down, he was like, "Buddy, help me!" And then Buddy Murphy ran into the ring and punched the Big Show in the groin, I believe. I think that was. But anyway, he helped he helped Seth Rollins win the match, and I was expecting sort of a reversal of that. We kind of got that at the end of the match. Rey Mysterio was going to give Murphy the 619, and that's when suddenly Seth springs into action. He grabs Rey's feet, brings him outside the ring. The ref throws the match out, but Seth isn't done yet. He grabs Rey Mysterio and tries to gouge his eye out on the steps leading up to the ring. So yeah, it's not been a good week for Rey Mysterio. He was thrown off a building, and luckily he didn't die. And then he got his eye gouged out. Yay. So next up is Shayna Baszler versus Natalya. Earlier on in the evening, when Shayna Baszler's interviewed, she basically makes fun of Becky Lynch for being pregnant, and that upsets Natalya. So Natalya is going to show her why being a mother is very important. They're going to have a match. Shayna Baszler basically says, "What do you know about being a mother? The Hart Dynasty is gonna die with you." Now, I don't watch the Total Divas show, so I don't know if there's anything behind that, but either way, that's just really harsh. And it's a good match. It's it's a real technical match. It's a cool spot towards the end when it looked like Shayna was going to do that thing where she, breaks somebody's arm by stomping on it, and Natalya reverses it. But Shayna gets out of that, and then, kicks her in the face. 1, 2, 3. Shayna Baszler is the winner of that match. And now we finally get to the highly advertised Edge versus Randy Orton. Edge comes out. He's not in his wrestling gear. And he basically says, "I didn't know I was supposed to fight Randy Orton until I saw that ad. And I'm done fighting Randy Orton. We had our match at WrestleMania, and I won." Randy Orton comes out, and Randy Orton says, "Hey, you won. The better man won. That was a last man standing match. We just had to beat a guy up till he couldn't make a 10 count. So the better man may have won, but I'm still the better wrestler. Let's have a match at Backlash, and it'll be a real wrestling match, because I think it's been too long, and you got the ring rust, and I will beat your ass." I have to give him credit because Randy Orton and Edge are so good at cutting promos that even though this is the exact opposite of how you book any feud, you start off with a wrestling match, and then in order to end the feud, you go to some sort of extreme gimmick match, and this is sort of the reverse. But I think they were able to pull it off, unfortunately, because this was the thing that they advertised the entire show, and they didn't wrestle at all. And when Randy makes the challenge, Edge doesn't even answer it. He just looks like he doesn't know what to do. They sort of fade to black on that. I have to say that this was another down point, even though I think the promo work was good. In the end, I felt it was anticlimactic. I think they should have ended with Becky Lynch making her announcement. It was a good feel-good moment. And I didn't leave the show going, "That's it? It's over?" I that's what I would have done, but I'm not the guy who writes these things. So it was an okay show. It was definitely just Asuka getting the championship in itself makes the show worth watching. Probably one of the better shows of the year. I think the good outweighs the bad, so I give it a thumbs up. But we'll have to see what happens next week.